All right, this is the Brown Duke Gun Show. My name is JP Garcia, here today in studio with Brandon Elias. Austin is out. He is taking care of a bunch of family things, some exciting things for him. So we're happy for him, but we're going to hold the fort down for a little while until he's back in saddle.
And it's a good thing. It's a baby.
It is a good thing. It's a baby. Yeah, that guy's not
baby.
sleeping probably for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
But that's good. It's all good. So today I wanted to talk about some things that I saw online, some news that I found. And what I'll do, I'll post this like I did last time, the link to all of the stuff that we're going over. I'll post it in the show notes. But I asked AI this morning on the way, to meet Brandon here, what are the trending firearm topics for the past 2 weeks? And so you can also go through this. We're showing it on screen, but there were a lot of things, right? The overview here, there's some legislative push to repeal the NFA, which there always is. Illinois Democrats targeting Glock, California potentially banning Glock. So we're going to revisit that because that's kind of what my hot button item is today. And we can go through some of the other things, but one of the other top things here, maybe hard to see. Let me scroll for you guys. Is there's some pro-gun bills going forward in Louisiana, which we know of. We do have the inside with Blake, which actually we probably need to have him on.
We do need to have him on. Yeah, I know he's been super busy lately, last couple of months, but hopefully whenever things start quieting down, and I don't know when they go into session. I want to feel like they are about to go into session, but whenever they get out, we can do something like that.
Yeah, we'll have him over.
Yeah, because whenever he's in
session,
there's no way.
You can't get him.
No.
Yeah,
absolutely. He's in Baton Rouge all week.
For sure. So that's that. And then rounding out the top 5, there's protecting the Mailing of Firearms Act, which, when we get to that level of, now the next one is pistol braces, resurgence of 32 revolvers and stuff like that. That's, that's kind of rounding the bottom of the top 10. I'm really interested in this. I'm triggered by this banning Glock and banning, in 2 different states, or targeting Glock. So for those just listening here, if you're driving, what this thing is saying is Illinois Democrats are advancing a ban to ban the sale of certain Glock handguns, which that is crazy, number 1. Number 2, California is moving towards a total ban on Glock pistols, the most popular firearms in the country. Again, this is nuts.
So that just like screams out that there's legislators that they don't know anything about guns.
Yeah.
They know that Glock's a very popular brand, and that's what they're focusing on. So they're just like, oh, I know Glock is a pistol. They don't know about any other brand. It's just because they heard of Glock in, whether it be like music videos or in music lyrics or in movies, anything like that. And that's what the name they pick for.
Yeah.
So they go after that, right?
Yeah.
It has happened before with, like the Sandy Hook thing, whenever Daniel Defense had to spend ungodly amount of money on attorneys because they wanted to ban Daniel Defense's because that was the gun he used. Like it was an AR-15, right?
Yeah.
But they don't know what brand is going to be. They're not responsible for that.
Mm-hmm.
Like they build guns. That's all they need to do. They shouldn't have to like defend their name.
Right.
Because of something that happened. Right.
Yeah.
And that's what Glock's probably doing right now. And I know Glock has like a team of attorneys that are on standby all the time. Every major manufacturer has that.
Yeah.
They send me like a little letter every year. It's like an insurance policy that Glock has.
Okay.
For if anything ever happens with a Glock, like at my place, it's like covered.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's
that's
like
cool.
it's up to like $1 million plan or whatever.
Okay.
And if you're a stocking dealer, like you're automatically like going into that.
Oh, nice.
It has to happen, I'm sure, with that gun. And like I don't know all the specifics about it. Like insurance is always like gray areas, right?
Well, fortunately, you haven't had any altercations with that. Yeah.
Thankfully, but. It's just like to make sure that if something happens with that firearm, they can't blame the firearm like, oh, that's the gun for it, right? So it's kind of protect themselves too. So I know that they do a bunch of stuff like that, and I'm sure they have a team of attorneys that's fighting this.
Yeah.
But that's what it screams out to me. Just legislators that don't know anything, and they're just saying like, oh, Glock's a popular brand. We got to ban Glocks. Like that's going to be the ones that's going to do it. And I'm sure that has to deal maybe with like the switches thing.
Is that you think so?
I'm thinking that's what's like some of that part of it is where they're like, oh, well, we figured out a way to make this, Glock full auto. So let's ban all Glocks because it's easy to convert. It's like anyone can do that. Like if you get an engineer that's going to sit there and focus on it they can probably make that for every handgun that's out there, right? Like a striker fire thing, it just slips off the striker and goes with it.
Yeah.
But someone figured out how to do it with Glocks, and they can 3D print them, and they're putting them in guns, and that's what the scare's about. I guarantee that it has something to do with that.
I'm looking it up right now. So what you can't see on the screen is I'm behind the scenes typing out what's the reasoning behind banning Glock in Colorado and California. Yes,
Chicago, right?
I'm sorry, Colorado and California.
Okay.
Illinois. Yeah, no. Yeah. So let me revise that to Illinois. But let's see. 1 second.
Because it did have a police officer, like a sheriff, and he had all of his deputies there, and they were like showing the difference between like a regular Glock and then like a full auto Glock. I saw that in some little video thing, and it was just like, oh, these are illegal. Because like we have people like in the shop that come in and like they're younger people that don't obviously like look at laws, and they probably don't even know what the law is. They're like, hey, do y'all have the switches that go in the back of guns? I'm like, no, absolutely not.
That's not a thing.
That's a machine gun.
Yeah.
Like that is a felony charge. Like if you have one of those and you get caught with it, it's a felony charge. Do you think that I would sell them in the shop? Right? Like absolutely not. And they don't even know. Like they have no clue that it's a felony, or they don't even know it's illegal. They're just like, oh, I heard it on a music video or whatever, and I want one.
I want to switch.
Yeah, you can't have one.
Yeah,
it's illegal for you to have
illegal.
One. Yeah. Yep. I can have one as a manufacturer and to like test products and stuff like that, and like because I can build machine guns, I have a license for it.
Yeah.
Right. But you can't do that. Like no, like actual person can do it.
Correct.
Right? Only a business can, or a law enforcement agency.
Correct. Yeah. And here, so I'm looking now for those who aren't watching this on video. So. Ask Glock about it, and look at here. It's because of the switches. So Illinois compatibility with conversion devices in parentheses switches is the first bullet point of why AI thinks that this is happening. The second thing here is public safety gun, which is the normal reason why people want to ban any sort of firearm. Incentivizing safer firearm design. That's ludicrous because Glock is one of the safest. Drop safe guns. You can roll over it with a car. You can do all kinds of stuff. Go to YouTube. You can figure that out, right?
And that's it. I mean, they had to get that name because at the beginning, that's what people were worried about. It's like, oh, it doesn't have a hammer, so it's not drop safe. And you like of any of the striker fire guns now, like Glock is like completely double action. Like you have to actually cock the striker back while you're pressing the trigger. That's usually why the triggers are not like as light as some of the other striker fire pistols. Right. But every company like that becomes very popular ends up dealing with that. SIG's going through it right now, right? Right. Look all the bad PR about SIG. They're like, oh, the guns are going off in the holsters and everything else. It's like I've never heard of a SIG pistol going off in a safe while it's loaded. Yeah. Right. Because no one's touching it. Like, right. It just so happens to be like whenever someone is like touching it or wearing it in a holster. Yeah. Like then it's going off. So it tells you like there's a human that's involved into that, right? Yeah. So they're having to prove that, and it's going to be a bunch of money lost for SIG at the moment, just like it was with Glock whenever they first came out. Like it was so difficult for them to get involved in the law enforcement because before that was wheel guns, right? Yeah. Like you had 1911s that didn't work, and you had wheel guns. Correct. So they're like, all right, well, I'm not switching over to this plastic gun. So to like convince people that it was drop safe and everything else. So that's probably the reason why SIG's going through it too. Yeah. So if you scroll down here to California, sorry, I was scrolling back and forth. I'll post this subquery also for everybody so you guys can see it, download it in the show notes. But California, same thing. The first bullet here is targeting convertible firearms, which again, basically here the subtext is Glocks because they can be modified with switches to become fully automatic. So this is illegal, folks. If you don't know, this is illegal. You should not be doing this, right? And to Brandon's point, it's not just Glocks. Exactly. Like that's the bullshit part is like you're having a aftermarket part that's making it like going into a gun and making it full auto. So you're going to ban the manufacturer? Yeah. Like, no, that's not right. Like the same thing with the rare breed triggers and like the force reset triggers and ARs, right? So like if they had one company that has a patent on all AR-15s, right? Like if that still existed and all of a sudden this trigger system came out, you wouldn't ban the gun. you'd ban the trigger system.
Exactly.
Like that's what you do. You ban the trigger system. It's just that they're getting upset because like it's so easily modified, like with 3D printers now, like people are making them and they're having a hard time to stop them. Was like just increase the issue with it, right? Like if you catch someone with it, then put it as a bigger sentence and make it known, just like you're doing. Like make sure the media has it and everybody like put it on news, like on television, like that way people can see it. Do sponsored ads on Facebook because that's how people get news channels. Yeah, like do things like that to where people do know about it and they can not like they know the repercussions of it and they not do those things. Yeah, instead of banning the manufacturer, that's not right.
Well, and so I went to because when I was looking at this, I was so just dumbfounded by the fact that why are we picking on Glock, right? And I started to think about clearly the people in California, the lawmakers in California, the lawmakers in Illinois either don't have have any idea how firearms work, right? And what that means, or they have an agenda. My spidey sense that they probably have an agenda, but that also means that it may be, and this is probably true, in California and in Illinois, especially in the urban areas, a lot of people, they don't have access to guns. They never grew up with guns. It's not a known thing, right? And so, it's hard for somebody who's never shot a gun, to understand why banning Glock is not the right thing to do. Okay. And so let's suspend the argument of whether you should or shouldn't ban firearms, right? Because clearly you and I have very strong, opinions about, you shouldn't be banning firearms, right? But let's just assume that you're in the camp that wants to ban firearms. Okay. So this is education from a gun guy telling you, the public, I'm trying to be nice in a nice way here, right? That your legislators are not doing you any favors, right? They're wasting your time and wasting your money by chasing this banning Glock thing, right? Because it is not getting after what you want to do, right? So if you're in that camp that wants to ban firearms, I think the easiest way, and I went out and visited Carl, our buddy at Rouse's grocery store, local, and shout out to Carl because I told him we were recording today. But to make an example that maybe makes sense for the general masses, right? Because most people, a lot of people maybe don't shoot guns. So, but everybody I think is really familiar with, the health crisis that's going on and people, with the war on, organic versus non-organic food and all of this stuff. And they're understanding that, hey, maybe we shouldn't be taking in as much sugar or as much whatever, like processed foods and stuff like that. Right. So I went out and I bought some of my family's and my favorite candy bars here. So not affiliated with any of them. I love all of these people. We have Kit Kat, we have Snickers, and we have Reese's.
Of course,
cups.
Reese's.
Of course, Reese's. The kids are going to be so happy that I made this example. Okay, so there is an argument out there, right, that says, okay, we should ban high fructose corn syrup, okay, because that's a thing. It overloads the body with sugar. It may lead to diabetes. It's all these health consequences of banning high fructose corn syrup or whatever it is. Okay. So what you are doing in the gun community is like, okay, you're taking these three, okay, Snickers, Kit Kat, Reese's, and what you're saying is that since we are fighting high fructose corn syrup, we're going to ban Kit Kat.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can get Reese's, or you can get Snickers, and you can get Reese's, but Kit Kat, you know what? Since it's so popular, it's completely off the table. You can't have Kit Kat anymore. I'll ask you, have you fixed the problem? Have you moved the needle at all? No, right?
People are just going to buy other guns.
They're just going to buy other candy bars.
Other candy bars.
That's it, right? What you should be doing is that instead of being able to buy the Reese's peanut butter cup, you should buy an apple, but which, by the way, I did research, and Reese's cup, apple have the same amount of sugar. Also, Reese's cup and 2 cups of watermelon have the same amount of sugar. So, but this is the conversation you should be having, right? And so, going back to the gun example, by banning Glock, you are just taking one of the brands of candy bar off the table, but I mean, how many gun manufacturers are there, right? So the point is, if you were in the anti-gun camp, right, or you're even in the anti-switch camp, whatever it is, by banning one brand, you're not doing yourself any favors. Your legislators are wasting your time and wasting your money. Period.
Yep.
So that is an example of how ludicrous this particular legislation is in California and Illinois. It's like, what are you doing?
And most of them, like, I heard a thing a while back where for gun control things, and they're like, neither side wants to win, right?
I've heard
and
that.
It's like, yeah, like it makes sense, right? Because if you have donors that are donating to NRA, to whatever pro gun thing, and you have donors that are donating to anti-gun, if one of them wins, all donations stop.
Right.
So it's like neither one of them wants to win. It's like it turns into like a money thing, and a job thing. And I can almost see that. Like, I can believe that, because everything in every industry, you get into it because like you like to get into it, and then you get in there and you realize like, well, there's people in here that they just think it's just a job.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I mean, I see that in the firearms industry all the time. Like, been in here for 8 years now, and like moved on to manufacturing side. I've been in the range side, been into the retail side, a bunch of different training side, all these things. And in every side of it, no matter, even if it's training side, right?
Yeah.
Like, you get into it and people view it just as a job. Like, they got into it not interested in firearms whatsoever.
Yeah.
They're just like, I need a job. And so this is the industry they somehow stumbled upon.
Right.
And it got it. Like, this industry is kind of rare because, like, I'd say more than half of them got into it because they like guns.
Yeah.
But there is another percentage that doesn't, right?
Yeah.
But in every other market, like, medical field, like your wife's in medical field, like, I know she got into it because she enjoyed it.
Right.
Right. But there's a way more probably people that don't really care about it. They just want to get in there for the money. Right. Like, especially in that field.
Well, and you look at it, going back to guns, it's like, if you look at sales, right?
Yep.
And people may not know how this works, but there are sales reps that visit with each gun company, right? So whether it be SIG, Glock, Remington, whoever, Smith and Wesson, name your gun brand, right? These sales reps go around to gun store and gun range owners like Brandon, and they visit and they just sell the thing.
They sell the thing, and
right?
whatever company they're with, that's the best product right now.
Correct.
Right, and then like, I've been in long enough to where these salesmen have moved around, and you see them and like, oh, well, this thing is the newest.
Now you're at HK, and
now this is the greatest. Yeah, and it's like all they are is a salesman. And sometimes, like, whenever I first got into it, I'd ask them questions, and like, they didn't know, right?
Yeah.
They're like, well, I got to go and ask the engineer. Got to ask. I'm like, how don't you know this? Like, I thought that you were like passionate, like I am about it. Like, I would know that if I worked for this one company. I don't have to remember all of them. I have to remember this one. But it's because they're moving around, and because they're just not, it doesn't matter. Right. To them, it's like, I just need to sell this gun. That's all I need to do. I don't really care about the gun. I don't care what happens with it. I just need to sell it. Right?
And they could move tomorrow. They could move to pharma sales.
Yep.
And then the next thing they do, they're selling you Vioxx, or they're selling you whoever, whatever it is. Yeah. So. And that's how, I mean, and you're right. It's like, I feel like there are only a few super passionate people in anything.
Yeah, in anything. Right? In gun industry, there's more passionate. I'd say it's more than half of them got into it because they're passionate about firearms. Right. Which is like absurd for any other industry. Yeah. Like, usually it's the opposite way. It's less than half of them are actually invested into that industry. True. They just want a job. Yeah. Yeah. But there is people like that in the firearms industry.
Well, I think that's probably true because the firearms community itself is so like it's kind of especially in certain states like California, Illinois. Yeah. It's not what do you call it? People don't want to be associated with guns.
Right. And it's like a different thing. It's almost like religion, right? Yeah. Like, and not to compare it to religion whatsoever, but it's like, if you're a pastor or a priest, like, you have a passion for that. Right. Right. Like, you don't just get into it like, hey, I need a job, I'm gonna become a pastor. Like,
right.
No, like,
let's hope you don't. Yeah.
Like, you have some type of passion about it, and you're like, I want to help people along with this, And so then you become that. Other jobs that, like an attorney or like medical field or something like that, usually like there's people that just get into it because they want money, right? Mm-hmm. Like, hey, I need a job. This is a good, secure job. So right. Do it. It's not because they're really passionate about it.
Right. Right.
There's some, like, there's rare occasions in that industry too, but for the most part, I'd say like it's the opposite.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things that I've found too, it's like even in like stuff like law enforcement,
Mhm.
where you would think there would be so many gun enthusiasts, right? Like you're
Yeah.
carrying a gun every day. And for a lot of folks, it's just carrying the gun is just part of the job,
Right.
and they don't have the passion. They don't have that, full understanding, and unfortunately, a lot of times it's evidence, but when you see them go to the range and it's like they can't
Yeah.
hit the paper.
It's bigger in law enforcement for sure, because in that industry, like you don't really, a lot of them don't have to use the gun,
Sure.
right? But even in military operations, like you'll see that in the high level of military things, they're not like gun enthusiasts,
Sure.
right? Like it's a tool and they know how to use it very, very effectively.
Mhm.
They're some of the best people that know how to use it, but like they don't care about the specs, right? Like they're not like gun people, like not gun guys. And you see them whenever they transition out of that world into the sales world. And they do a really good job at sales world because they actually use them and they can be like, hey, like the people that want to use them, they can sell to them, right? But like to the gun guy, he's like he doesn't understand. He's like, well, what's the barrel made out of? And they're like, I don't know, like a steel.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Metal.
No, what kind of steel? And like they get so upset. It's like, dude, it doesn't matter. Like you're the engineer guy, right? Like these guys that they're trying to sell to are like they're users, right? So like, I need to use this firearm. Will it hold up? Like, what's the round count? Like, will it hold up 20,000? Okay, I'm good. Like, that's all that matters. I don't care what numbers you throw at me because that doesn't mean anything to me. Like, I don't know what that means. Yeah. But as long as it holds up to this round count and it's going to stay accurate, I'm good with it.
Yeah.
You know? So a lot of those guys are like that, and it's funny to see.
It is. And I just, going back to the whole Glock thing, I mean, it's just, I can't, I mean, it always happens, right? And I think that you're 100% correct that there is some subculture of either lawmaker, politician, even maybe folks in the gun community who want to keep this craziness going, because two things happen when you call out a brand, right? You give one side the target of, oh, this is a terrible brand, but then you also, for those who are advocates of that particular brand, right? We're picking Glock here as an example, but like, okay, for all the Glock folks, they're just gonna like go double down hard on Glock, support Glock. Sales are gonna go up, and all that. I'm not even proposing that Glock has some in on this, like they wanted this to happen. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, you're right. I think there are people in the industry whose this whole thing is just a job, and they just, there was somebody in marketing who said any publicity is good publicity. Right. Mm-hmm. So long as your name is out there and getting mentioned, whether it's good or bad, your name is getting mentioned and your competition's not getting mentioned. Right. So, I mean, I guess for those who see just this as a job, it's like, okay, well, it's free marketing.
Free marketing. Yeah.
So, I mean,
and there's people like that. And I think there's people like that on the other side too.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
We always fighting it because we're like, man, how can you like ban this type of gun or whatever? But like, I think there's lawmakers or there's advocates on the anti-gun side that's just like, hey, this is just a job. Like, I don't even care what happens really with guns. I want to get paid.
Well, you see politicians that get called out for that all the time, where they basically are just at the whim of whoever's donating to them or whoever's like yeah, exactly. And whoever's in their ear and whoever gives them the most money. And that's why it's like those folks aren't as like super popular versus the ones who are, who are like strong in their convictions.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, people remember their names.
Exactly.
Right?
Well, I mean, look at Trump, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, whether you like Trump or you don't like Trump, it's like the one thing is that whenever he says something, he believes it, right? Whether it's right or wrong, he believes it,
Like, we have those in Louisiana too. I mean, Blake's one of them, right?
Oh,
like,
yeah, absolutely.
Blake will absolutely stand up for whatever he believes in.
Yeah.
Even if if it's against the grain, right? Like if everybody else is going this way and if he believes in it, it's like, no, this is what the values are. I don't care what the new modern thing is to do. Like this is what is right. He's going to stand up for it. And he's done that before and pushed against friends in politics and went against them and caused arguments because of it, because he stayed true to what he was, right?
Exactly.
And that's why people remember his name. John Kennedy's another one. Like,
right.
You look up him, dude. He says some wild shit. Like, dude, it's so funny. But like, you can tell he's real. Like, he's like, I don't care what camera's putting in my face? Like, I'm gonna say whatever I want to say,
Exactly.
whatever comes to my mind, and it's like that's why we remember his name. You
Yeah,
know? Like,
yeah, dude. Everybody knows John
everybody knows
Kennedy.
John Kennedy. Like CNN, Fox News, like they all have him on there.
Absolutely,
he's awesome.
Yeah. So the other guy, who's that other? He's like a sheriff that's now who was going after
Higgins.
gangs.
Yeah,
Higgins.
Clay
that
Higgins,
guy.
another guy. Yep.
I wasn't even living in Louisiana, and I heard his stuff because he was so strong, man, on like gang violence and stuff like that.
Yep.
It's like, oh my gosh, who is this guy?
Yep.
But it was, he's the same dude.
Same guy.
He hasn't changed the stripes,
Yep.
you know? So, so anyway, I guess going back to this again, it's just, I'm going to keep beating the dead horse here, but it's, banning any one gun is completely ludicrous.
It's
like
crazy.
That doesn't, and again, because I do have friends who are, not as strong 2A as I am.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of friends that are not, they're anti-gun, right? We're still friends. You can be anti-gun. We can still be friends. The point is, what I want to tell you is, like, with as much just being genuine as possible, this type of attack on any one gun company isn't doing what you think it's doing.
Right.
Because it is not going to change. It is not going to materially change the outcome. Right. Because, okay, let's just say, for example, they do ban Glock, right? And Glock can't be sold in California and Illinois, right? So two things are going to happen. There's going to be this like underground subculture of people who have Glocks, right?
Yep.
And they're just going to, keep
how many people
them.
are making Glocks now? Like Ruger's making a Glock.
Exactly.
Like, Palmetto State's making a Glock.
Well, I mean, dude, Estacato's making a Glock.
Yeah. Well, it's not like they're actually making Glocks from like Gen 3s.
Yeah.
Like Gen 3 Glocks, like there's other companies making them. So like you're going to ban just Glock and like you have all these other guns that take the same parts.
Basically exactly the same. But you take the same mags.
Exactly the same. Yeah. Right. It's not even just mags. It's like they take the same slide releases.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
It's that bad. Like they just straight copy because the patent ran out, right? On the Gen 3. So now everybody's making them.
Right.
So it's like, it's going to solve nothing.
No, it's not. Well, and let's just assume that, okay, Glock goes away. Then, okay, well, Smith & Wesson steps up and Stig. Yep. They're going to make those automatic switches for whatever's the most popular gun. They're not choosing it because Glock is any better or any worse. They're choosing it because Glock's the most popular.
Right.
And if you take away the most popular, whoever's doing this illegal work, remember, with the frame that all of making your own firearm fully auto is illegal. Like, you can't do that. But so let's say you take Glock off the table. They're just going to go, the people who are doing the illegal stuff, they're just going to go to the next gun.
Right.
I mean, and it's just, if you need evidence of that, look at just firearm crime. If you ban, you ban assault weapons or whatever you call assault rifles or whatever that is, people still commit crimes with rifles.
Yep.
People still commit crimes with pistols. Like you make a law, they're just still, the people who do the illegal thing, they're still going to do the illegal thing, right? They're just breaking one more law. What do they care?
Yeah, they don't care. Yep.
So anyway,
crazy.
Yeah, I don't know. So I think, go ahead.
What was the other one? The top one?
Oh yeah.
I get questions. I think I get questions on that a lot.
So let me go back up to the top. Okay, so I'm off my Glock, California and Illinois soapbox.
Oh, the NFA thing. Yeah. So like I get questions about that like once a week at the shop.
Banning the
man,
dissolving the NFA.
There's people that come in and it's like, yeah, I'm thinking about getting a silencer, but I'm not gonna get one because they have a bill going through. I'm like, it's not gonna go through. Like, they've been doing this for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Like, they're like, yeah, it's gonna take the silencers off the market, and I think this is gonna be the one. I'm like, dude, if you just buy the silencer now, you're gonna get it like before this bill even like dies off, right? So I hear that constantly. I don't think that it's ever gonna happen. Would I like to see it happen? Yes, absolutely. Especially for silencers and sharp barrel rifles and sharp barrel shotguns, like that, it's nonsense, right? Like you can have a pistol brace and not have the stock on it, you can have a like it's just crazy. Like all different aftermarket. So like SBRs, there's no reason they should be on the NFA items. Silencers
for sure.
Yeah, I mean, like it's not gonna make it movie quiet, and even if it does, like it doesn't stop it from doing anything.
Right.
Like it's just an accessory that. yeah, it does have tactical advantages where like no flash, like flash suppression and like knowing where it's coming from and stuff like that. But like you don't, that's not a thing. Like, you know,
never. That's a good point, right? Because never in any of these gun related crime things has anybody ever said, gosh, if I would have been able to see the flash.
That's right.
Or gosh,
or know where it's coming from. Like usually everybody knows where it's coming from. And even if they don't have a silencer, like if it's a shot that's from a building, like JFK or something, like look how long it took them to like realize where that was coming from. Right. Like it wasn't something that was like instant and it's like, oh, he had a silencer so we couldn't find it for days. You know, it's like, no, dude, it's like he didn't have a silencer and they still couldn't find it. Like they couldn't pinpoint, but like, oh, look, there it is. Right. Like shot came out and they had to like look around for it. And then like later on that day, they figured out where he was.
Well, dude, like, okay, you bring up JFK, like even still today, people are still like, okay, were there one shooter? Were there two shooters? Like, so still, even with no silenced, you know, weapons and whatever, like there's still complete controversy. Yeah.
They had the murder from the CEO or whatever that got murdered with the silencer.
That's right. Yeah.
Like you think like, even if he didn't have a silencer, he's still going to get murdered. And the guy still like, there was no one around. And I mean, one gunshot, or I think he shot him multiple times, but like if it's one gunshot, it's going to sound, no one's going to be suspicious about it. Right. So it's not like it's going to matter either way.
Well, but but I flip that though, right? Like, you know, you think about you and I have shot so many suppressed calibers, different types of guns, different, you know, I think it is so like it's hard to remember the first time you ever heard a suppressed 22, silenced 22 or a silenced 9mm or something, a subsonic, right? But if you can remember, like it's a strange sound. Yeah. Right. It's not a normal, like my opinion is you can't really mistake that sound for anything else. So even if it's quiet now, and that the other thing is that, you know, for those who've never shot or been around somebody who's shot any, you know, a weapon that's suppressed, silenced, right? It's not what you think it is. No, it's not like the movies, you know?
And the only way to get it that way is like a 22 or like a 300 blackout subsonic or 9mm subsonic. Like, and like it's quiet, but
it's not like,
yeah, and it can kill someone.
Oh, it certainly can.
But it's like not the optimal thing for the job. Yeah. You know, like.
But it's not even like, I guess what I'm getting at is like in the movies and in video games, when you shoot somebody with like a silenced something, it's like, it's almost people like snapping their fingers almost. Yeah. And it's like, no, it's not like that. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Or it's like, I can't even think of, it's like clapping two balloons together or something like that. They're like, no. It doesn't. You have no idea what this thing sounds like. And the hard part is you could try to go onto YouTube and listen, but it doesn't make, like, you can't appreciate the sound difference until you're there in person.
Right. Yeah. And we do that like on videos for reviews for silencers. Like we shoot them back to back to where you can kind of see like, hey, which one's a little bit higher pitched or which one's a little bit louder on the video, but it really is not going to tell you the difference on the video. Right. And then we'll have like this little decibel reader that tells you, but like decibels are so hard to like understand. Yeah. Like 1 decibel can sound a lot louder or, you know, not as loud. Like, so you just got to kind of take the recommendation. And that's what we try to do in the videos. Like, hey, I shot both of these back to back. Like they sound about the same to me. Right. Like I have loss of hearing in my left ear, but like, for me, it sounds about the same. Right. And then there's some of us like, all right, that one's definitely louder and has a different crack and stuff. Right. And it's just more of what you're wanting to do with the gun. And I don't get wrapped up around in like pitch. Like people see that all the time. Like, oh, it has a better pitch to it. I'm like, I don't even know what that is. Like, I have no clue of what you're talking about right now.
I don't shoot slow enough to to know what the pitch is. Yeah.
Like, I don't know if you like listen to music all the time. If like, you know what like all that stuff is, but like, I have no idea. Like it's quiet. Like that's all I know. It's either hearing safe or it's not hearing safe. That's the two things that I know.
That's right. Yeah. And even with 9, right? Like, you shoot subs versus like even supersonic, right? Like there's a marked difference.
Huge difference.
It's a marked difference.
That one, I mean, like 100 feet per second difference is massive. Yeah. Because once it breaks that sound barrier,
you get the sonic boom.
Lot louder.
Yeah, you get the sonic boom. So,
but yeah, I don't think that act's gonna go through. Like they're always fighting it. I think that like on the machine gun side, that's the part that people worry about, like just for public relations, like just. Because if you get one guy that has a machine gun goes into a crowd of people, you know, like a Vegas thing, whatever.
Right.
Like it looks bad for gun owners
Right.
at that point. But like, do I think they should be available to everybody? Like, yeah, like you just make it stricter for like whoever gets caught with it that is doing something illegal. Like you make it stricter, right? Like that's how you solve that.
Well, yeah, and you know, Barney and I were talking about. Believe it or not, Barney and I were talking about this very thing yesterday.
It's not a gun problem, right? It's a people problem.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so, and I'm 100% agree with everything you said. Like the suppressors, the SBRs, that is complete garbage, right? It's, you know, going back to the candy bar example we had for Glock. It's like, okay, you're banning a fun size version of this, but it's still, you know, it's still the candy bar.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the size of it doesn't make any difference. You know, it really doesn't. So, but you know, the one thing where I was I'm still weird about, like, okay, if they do ban or if they do get rid of the NFA machine guns, right? And the way I kind of see it is this: there are so many things. If you flip markets and you go to pharmaceutical market now, right? Used to be when I was growing up, all you could get over the counter was like Tylenol and Advil, right?
Yeah.
And I can tell you from experience, I had to have prescription for Allegra for allergy medicine, right? Yeah. Now you can get Allegra over the counter. You don't have to have a prescription. You got Claritin. You can get stuff over the counter, no problem. But I cannot go get hydrocodone, right?
Right.
But without a prescription, right? And I think it's going to be the same thing with machine guns. I think if we're being truly responsible, okay, there, you know, all the guns outside of machine guns, in my opinion, are all the same. And any ban or whatever, even with silencers or whatever, that's all a dumb argument, in my opinion. I do see the argument for having more regulation around machine guns, just because, okay,
people do stupid stuff.
People do stupid stuff, and having shot you shot much more full auto than I have. It is a different thing.
Yeah, like, it's a completely different skill, and like people.
It's a different skill. Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Whenever they get behind the gun, they're like, "Oh, I can shoot semi-auto," and then whenever they get behind that, like it's all over the place.
Right.
They have no accuracy. So like you would obviously don't use it for self-defense. It's just a play thing. But like still in a play setting, like at a range, they don't. We have to have someone there with them while they shoot it because they don't know how to control it, like whatsoever. Yeah. Right. And usually it's worse than like a brand new shooter that doesn't know anything, because whenever they go out there, they're a little bit more cautious and they're like, oh, well, like, let me get someone to help me shoot this gun because I don't know anything. Guys that have been shooting for a while, they think like, oh, I can handle a machine gun. Like, I know what I'm doing. You don't have to watch me. And then they do stupid stuff and the round goes over the berm if it's outdoors and it ends up in someone's house. Right?
That's the problem. And it's not just one round. If one round goes over the berm, 10 rounds go over the berm before you know what happened.
Yep. Before they're humble themselves and be like, hey, maybe I don't know what I'm doing. You know, like, so yeah, I definitely see that. I still don't think it's a gun problem. Like, it's
a training problem.
It's a people problem. Like, people think that they're more confident than what they actually are. Like, they get cocky about something like, oh, I know how to do that. And like, no, you don't know how to do that. I don't care if you're a grown person. You still don't know how to do that.
Right. You know? And I don't care if you've been shooting guns for
forever.
You know,
like, it does not matter to me.
55 years. Doesn't matter. If you've never fired full auto, you don't know what full auto is.
Exactly. You have no clue.
It's just like, hey, I'm going to go back to USPSA. You know, it's like if you've never shot USPS or any sort of practical shooting, you don't know what it is.
You don't know what it is. And you're not going to be good.
Exactly. And it's okay to not be good. Like, that's the thing.
Telltale sign is like whenever someone comes in, it's like, oh, don't worry, I'm a police officer. All right. I'm retired military. Like, I know how to use this gun. It's like, all right, like, apparently you don't. Because like, you wouldn't say anything if you actually knew how to use the gun.
Right.
Like, I went to Athena the other day.
Oh, hey.
Right?
Athena,
so like in Houston, walked in, like, asked them, hey man, like, how do I bring in guns? Like, you know, like, I have them everything in cases and everything. They're like, yeah, no problem. Just go grab them. And, you know, this is where you're going to go. So I did all that, followed all the rules, like, asked them like, hey, how does everything work to get on the range? Listened to their whole range safety briefing, did everything, went and shot and left. Like, did I ever bring up the thing, be like, oh, by the way, like, I'm a USPSA shooter.
I own a gun range.
I own a gun range. Like, no, I never even said any of that. Like, I just follow the rules and go through it, you know?
I don't
have to tell them that they're going to pick up like on the the cues that I give of the way that like I pick up the gun and shoot the gun, they're gonna be like, okay, I don't have to watch him because he is competent. Like he knows exactly what he's doing. I don't have to throw out every certification that I have and like, oh, I'm a chief range safety officer. Like, you know, I can be on this range by myself or whatever. Like they don't need to know that. They're gonna see that with their own eyes and be like, okay, I don't have to watch this person. I'm gonna go watch the next person.
Right.
You know.
Well, and you look at it even more like you compare it to like a concealed carry type situation too. It's like you just want to be under the radar. Yeah. You don't want to you don't want to be too flashy or too this or too that, because then you become a target. You know, and it's like in that situation, if you say too much crap, then you become a target for the range officer. And like, okay, well, I'm gonna definitely watch him because he thinks that he knows what the heck's going on.
And that's what I do. Like people walk in the range and they like start throwing all this stuff. It's like, okay, like, you know, apparently I got to watch this person because I've never met a person that's like competent that comes to the range and says that right at the beginning. Yeah. Right. Never.
Well, and you know, and going to USPSA, I can tell you, it's like, you can almost predict who's going to DQ by the way they act in the safety brief. Yep. You know,
I mean, I've had everything from Navy SEALs to Delta Force operators to Grandmasters in USPSA, like all this stuff, like coming to the range and shoot. Not one of them has showed up and said like, oh, by the way, I'm this, like right at the beginning. This never happened.
No. Yeah.
So
no, you don't.
It's usually a telltale sign of that. But going back to the act thing, like if you want a silencer, go and get a silencer. Don't wait for this thing. Yeah.
I just got one. Was like 6 weeks or so.
Yeah,
it was
2
quick.
of them approved. Yeah,
yeah, and it was like a trust one, so they take longer.
Yep. But, so go through that, and I don't think that it's ever. The reason why I don't think they're ever going to go through is money. Yeah, like they get hundreds of millions of dollars off of just tax stamps alone every year. Yeah, right. It's stupid money. So you think that the government's going to be like, hey, by the way, now you don't have to do this, right? Like, no, it's an income.
It's there forever.
Yeah, it's a tax, so they can use it for whatever, and they're just getting all that money and doing that. It's not a fee; it's a tax.
Well, I was actually, when I was talking to Barney about it, because he was saying the same thing about, oh man, I hope they get rid of it. I was like, no, what's going to happen? It's going to get Elon Musked. It's going to get doged. And so a lot of the people who work in there are going to go away because they can automate it so much now, right?
And they have already done that.
Yeah, and that's why the times have gone from 18 months to 4 weeks.
That's right. And they think it is this big, huge thing, but I guarantee, I don't know how many people work in the NFA branch. Yeah. But I bet you that it's probably like close to 100. Yeah. Maybe. People think it's like thousands of people and there's like a bunch of like this huge office building with little cubicles. Like, I don't think it's that. No, it's not even close.
No, realistically, if they automate, and going back to my professional world here, like if they automated properly, right? All you'd have to do, like my impression of all what you do for a NICS check is like, okay, run the person's name, driver's license number, boom, you contact the state, you get, you looked up the federal databases and all that stuff, and then you're either going to get an approve or a deny or a hold, right? Mm-hmm. So then it's like, well, first, if you get approved, then that could be completely automated. Like that should be, a person goes through and enters their info, or the person at gun store enters their info for them into some website, right? That's run by the government. And then and this is for NFA level stuff, right? It goes through, it should take 5 seconds to go query a federal database and query a state database, or even query all 50 states databases and just say, can this guy or girl have a gun? And yes, everybody says yes, boom. I mean, that's a 10-second transaction tops.
At the most.
Then what happens is like, okay, well, there's somebody here whose name is this and name is this and name, like their names are similar. We don't know if they're the same person. Okay, hold. Okay, well then, that stuff goes to the, a person, right? Or if it's denied, it's like, oh, we can know for sure that this person can't have a gun, right? That's an easy one too. So like 2/3 of all the transactions, which I'm sure most of, at least 70% of the things that come back are approved, right? So you get 70% approved, probably 10% deny, I'm guessing. So that's 80% of the transactions.
That's pretty high number.
Oh, really?
I don't think like 10%. It might be like
3%, 4%. So like even say, let's even say 5%, right? So well, no, okay. So let's say 1%. So that's 71% of the transactions that usually have to have a person at least talk to on the phone that can be completely automated. So then that takes your 100 people down to 30 people, right? Boom. And then it's like, if you just put all the right automation around those people to be able to like, oh, here, today I'm going to try to get through 50 holds or whatever.
The automation is there. The AI is there. The thing that holds them back is number one, politics, because they're trying to give the brother-in-law the deal, right? Like, oh, we're going to use your AI system. It's like, no, pick the best AI system,
correct,
right?
Yeah.
Like, do a bid and do all that stuff to make sure. And I'm sure they have that stuff in effect for that, but it still is like kind of politicky.
Oh yeah,
right?
I mean, politics is politicky.
Yeah, it is. And the second thing is the security, like because they can't have a break in the system. They can't have something happening where you get all people's information. Like, and you hear that often with other companies. Like, I view that with like, well, why don't they just run it like a business, right? Like, because the business is going to get the best deal possible. They're going to get the best automation, and it's going to be run a lot faster and smoother and all this stuff for a cheaper price. But they also have, like, you hear all the time, like, oh, well, this company got hacked into, right? Like, you rarely hear the government got hacked into. Like, we had one of them in Louisiana a while back for like LA Wallet, or one of those issues got hacked into. But like, it's very, very rare to hear like, oh, U.S. government did. And maybe that is because like they don't tell us.
Maybe.
You know? Yeah. Like, we don't know, but like they usually have like the best security system for that stuff.
Yeah. So anyway, I think I think that the NFA is here to stay also.
Yeah, I
don't think that's going away, but I do think it'll get automated, and I hope that it's one of those things that when you do decide to go, make an SBR or get a silencer or whatever it is you want to do, provided you're not getting a full auto, because full auto is its own thing. Yeah. Right. But if you're just getting a silencer, SBR, or whatever it is you're doing, I think that should be an instant thing.
It should be just like a firearm. Yeah. It should be a gun.
And then it's like, if you do it through a trust, that may have to go through a person, because then they have to look at a legal document and make sure. Yeah. But a week.
And for the machine gun thing, like, it would be cool for it to like open back up to where you can get them, and there's not like, oh, there's a ban and you can only get like ones that are already made. Yeah. So it'd be cool like if that made new ones and you could get them, but like maybe do it to where like, oh, hey, you have to go through more training or something. Yeah,
exactly. You require 100 hours of training or something.
Just like, and people might think, oh, that's like anti-gun or something. It's like, no, we're getting the things that we're doing, but you're also like making sure that they have the training, just like a CDL driver's license, right? Like, that's the same thing. It's like, hey, it's pretty easy to get regular driver's license, right? Just like a gun. But if you want to like drive 18 wheelers, that's a different way. Like, yeah, it's still driving, but it's different. Right. Then you have to go through this other training. Then like that should be almost the same thing. Yeah. Right. Like, I think
it's the same like motorcycles too, right? You had to get a motorcycle endorsement.
Motorcycle endorsement.
And you had to go through a class.
You got to go through the class and deal with it. That way, just like people understand about it and they shoot. They don't just like get the item. Right. And it's like, oh, I'm gonna go test it out. Yeah. And then they don't know exactly what they're doing.
Motorcycle is actually a good kind of similar thing here, right? Because you can get a motorcycle endorsement without going through the class, right? Like, so I don't know what if you did.
I got a motorcycle endorsement.
Did you go through the class?
No, I just went through the. I just went to DMV and like did.
So, but Kentucky basically said if you go through the class, then you don't have to go through the practical test, and also you get. I think I got 20% off on my insurance or something like that, nice. Right? So it was like, of course you're going to pay this $100 and go for a day and do this class, right? But the things that we learned about in that class was like, oh yeah, that was really useful. Yeah. It wasn't really like how to ride a motorcycle. It was more like how to be seen and how to be heard and not become like a casualty.
Yeah. Actual practical stuff, not just like an audit. Like, that's the thing that they mess up with every time they do these major classes. Like, they make it a certain amount of time and it's like, oh, you got to sit through this. And it's usually like a bunch of BS. Yeah. Right. Sometimes they do have good information. Like, yeah, you should still go through firearm safety and all that stuff, but like it should be hands-on stuff. So like if you want to shoot a machine gun, like, or get that license to do so, like you should have to go and shoot one. Yeah. Like, you have to find a range that has one, and you have to pay the money to like get the ammo and everything, and you have to shoot at least a couple hundred rounds through a machine gun.
I think it should be more, man, because like machine guns, like, I mean, again,
it should be.
They're wild.
Yeah.
You know,
it should be like, hey, this is a pistol caliber, this is a belt fed, and this is a, regular, like
a magazine
intermediate,
fed,
intermediate distance rifle, so like having those three things and like being able to shoot one shoulder fired on a tripod and different things and like how to operate it, I think that would be pretty good.
I think it would be, and I really think it should be a large number of hours, because again, it's just so different. But
but at least they know, like, even at the range, like if you get one guy that gets like 3 or 4 mags, like by the end of it, he kind of has an
to lean into it.
He knows how much to lean into it, right?
Yeah.
Like it's the first time they shoot it. That's why we have to be out there, right? Like we have to have our hand on their shoulder, making sure they're pushing forward, because it's gonna rise up. Right? It does happen until they realize, like, oh, I have to force it down like this amount of pressure, then I can understand it. And after the 3rd or 4th mag, they're like, okay, like we can kind of like sit back and let them do it,
right? Yeah.
So I think they should have that on each gun, and then they'll have like at least a respect for it, and say, hey, I might not know how much to lean in next time, but I know I have to lean in.
I know I have to do it. Yeah.
And I know, like, to make it stop, all I have to do is let go of the trigger.
Exactly. Yeah. Get my hand out of the way.
Yeah. Don't have to keep the trigger pinned down and trying to force it. I just let go of the trigger, the muzzle falls back down.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta do.
And that's it's an interesting point. I've always thought about this, like in a flip way. It would be interesting if you had more pistols that were full auto, because I think that trigger discipline would be much more of a thing.
Yeah.
Than it is.
Yeah, those like pistols shooting those full auto is like insane.
That's nuts.
It's so difficult. Like
I've
shot a couple of them. The hardest gun I've ever shot, I could not keep it down, was a Maxim. Silent Scroll Maxim. It was like an integrated suppressed handgun. Right. And that thing, it was like an open bolt, I think it was. Like, so it just like stayed locked open. Whenever you shot it, just took off. Right. And it was like a 22 round Glock mag, and I couldn't keep it from like rising, hitting the baffle.
Wow.
Yeah, it was insane. I had 22 rounds.
Jeez.
And like I gripped the hell out of a gun.
Yeah.
I could definitely shoot the gun, but I could not hold it down.
That's amazing. Yeah.
It was so fast. But now like Glocks and stuff are not as bad. You can hold them down, but like that gun, because the silencer was adding so much more back pressure, it was just recalling so much.
Going up. Yeah. Well, I only say that because it's like, if people had more respect for the trigger, because you see it all the time. I see it all the time, right? USPSA, people just, they'll lay their finger on the trigger. It's like, that's their first response.
Yeah.
But if you, well, I say that, but a lot of people who've never shot before, the first thing they do is put their finger on the trigger. So they don't know full auto from and they may actually think, a lot of people who first time they're shooting, they think it's full auto. It's like, no, you got to pull the trigger every time. So
I think it's just like inexperience from guns in general.
Yeah, so maybe that's not the best thing, giving somebody who's never shot full auto.
No, not the best thing.
But I guess that goes back to the same thing, though. It's like, you would never give somebody full auto if they've never shot a gun before. No. So that's why, another good reason why they should have a class.
Yeah.
If you get, if they get rid of the NFA, which they're not going to do, but if they did, you had to have a class to have a machine gun.
Yep. Even if they didn't get rid of the NFA, like if they're saying, hey, now you can own machine guns made after 86, like if they went away with ban.
Gotcha.
Thank you. If they like went away with ban, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. I think, I think we need to, but also, like you had to treat it different because they're different.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Anyway.
I think it'd be cool.
All right, man. So, well, that's the top 3 things here in AI world. What they said is going on this week in gun news. The pro gun bills in Louisiana. I want to save that for when Blake's on, because he'll talk our ear off about that. So, and we've been going for a little while, so I think this is good. Anything else you think we need to cover on this one?
No, I think that's it. It's all politics this week.
It's all politics this week. All right. Thanks.